Other countries have digitalized platforms to control the incomes and the expenditure of the citizens and the governments and the corporations. The moment you put this system, our state revenues expected to grow 3 times immediately, because we will capture every transaction. We have in fact given a deadline within 6 months that we will implement this system in this country. The first priority is to motivate people on this concept of inclusive nationalism, where we will build Sri Lanka as a competitive nation and people will be motivated on that basis. Secondly, to train the mindset of the people from an ad hoc mindset to an entrepreneurial mindset. With an entrepreneurial nation, with an entrepreneurial mind state, where we suggest that Sri Lanka should be an entrepreneurial state. With that change, every person, from the smallest entrepreneur to the biggest entrepreneur in this country, or the government per se, or the state, will be thinking very differently. I don't think the expressions of the people could be controlled by way of acts and laws and stuff. What I think is that we have to educate people in terms of the importance of free speech and how the free speech, the concept of free speech should be used, what are the limitations of free speech. Education system should be driven with this idea of managing human capital. There is nothing else. Education is to manage human capital. Of course, it should capture the moral values of a human being, but largely it is for that purpose. If so, we have to begin from early childhood education, the concept of entrepreneurship. We should put that thing into the mind of the infant from that stage, so that as that kid grows and when the kid becomes an adult, he or she would grow up in that mindset of entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial spirit, which suggests the creativity and risk-taking ability be used in whatever they do in their day-to-day life. I don't believe that Sri Lanka has minorities. We have one big majority, that is Sri Lankan. I don't think we should segregate people on the basis of their birth, their religion, their caste, their creed or anything. We consider ourselves to be all are equal, and that is why we suggest the inclusive nationalism as our platform. Sri Lanka tourism sector time and time again has faced the same problem. That is that we have failed to attract a quality tourist to this destination. So if we are to compete with the rest of the world as far as tourism destinations are concerned, we got to do one thing. That is to build Sri Lanka as a brand. One big lesson that I have learned from past presidents, that they contest, they come to that seat without a strategic plan. I believe you have to have a plan if you are to become the president of the country, and it should be a strategic plan. It should be a time-bound strategic plan, which should not just say what, it should say how, and it should say when, and it should say if not what, also in the same way. Youth is a very important section in our society, which in fact drives the nation. So it is important that they understand, if they don't become logical, if they don't become rational in what they think and do, it will become actually a very vague so-called nation.